Hello, everybody. I'm Stompy, and I'm here with Jhead. How's it going?
So I'm pretty well, just working on some beats,
Working on some beats. Let's go. If you guys don't know, Jhead is a producer. He's definitely very underground. If you can even call him underground, it's like what's more underground than underground? That's how
That's
I would
true. That
describe
is true.
Jhead. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I think Jhead might be next up. It's a crazy assumption to make this early on, but Jay has been, working with Lil Switch, also a very underground artist right now, but he's been popping off a little bit. He's got his fair share of hits. How do you feel about working with Lil Switch like, and do you plan to work with other artists in the future?
Lil Switch is honestly he's one of the greatest partners to work with, but like sometimes he can get a little weird. He is very creative. I
Yeah,
like his way that he thinks, but
for
like
sure, for sure.
sometimes he overthinks a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
definitely.
yeah. I can't really say no because he's the artist and he's paying me to make his beats. So like I can't really say no.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
And the the lyrics in the songs can be a bit, how do
Yeah.
I put it? Just a bit. I don't really know how to describe it, but do you ever feel like that might be holding you back as a producer?
To be honest, not really. To be honest, maybe just a little bit, but it could probably be the start of a new era of music.
I mean, you never know. I mean, meme music has existed for a while. Uh, just look at the success of artists like Blade and pioneers of genres like cloud rap. That if you were to show hip hop listeners 30 years ago, they would have probably freaked out and they wouldn't believe what they were hearing because they would think it's so bad. But now it's like an actual popular thing. So that definitely could be the case with Lil Switch. Let's stem away from Lil Switch and talk more about J-Head. Um,
Okay.
what do you see for the future of J-Head as a producer?
So for right now, I'm hoping to get a job with working with a lot of big artists. Just trying to get more jobs, trying to get my name out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just yeah, and also another thing, I enjoy making music too. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Hopefully, it becomes my future job, like my future full time job, and I'd really like that. Like work with a lot of artists. Just get a name for me out there.
Yeah, for real. I totally agree with you on that. And I respect your dream. And honestly, like looking at your work now, just from what I've seen from your early works and you know what you've done so far with Lil Switch and your solo work, I
Yeah,
definitely see that as a possibility. I see you
yeah,
branching out, working with other artists, getting your name out there, and possibly becoming like a you know popular producer in the underground.
yeah. I agree with that totally.
What are your, plans with Lil Switch, like as of now? What are your current kind of plans? What are you guys working on? What's next?
All right, so right now we're working on an album, his very first album. We've been working on it since last year,
Oh
and
shit.
right now we have a few tracks ready,
All
but we
right.
still need a few more to make it a sort of listenable album.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same old little switch, the same old little switch, the same type of music for like better producing and better music.
Yeah.
Uh, he's extending his like I don't know his sound. Like we're trying to get a bunch of different sounds from different types of music. So right now we have a few songs with different genres involved. So we got like a bunch of Albanian, we got Latin reggaeton, we got a bunch of different types of music genres compared into one song. And then
Yeah.
yeah,
And that is great because it really shows off, not only Lil Switch's vocal versatility. I don't really know if he's really switching up much, maybe just same style, different beats, but it definitely shows your versatility as a producer to be able to make, like relatively good beats for so many different genres. It's quite impressive, honestly.
thank you, I appreciate that.
I'm really honestly excited to hear this full length mixtape from Lil Switch. No matter how much I might not quite enjoy his style, his lyrics, his voice. The beats are always good, and I have to go into it with an open mind. I've got music I
Yeah,
listen to that other people definitely probably wouldn't like that much, so I'm not really one to judge, right?
yeah.
Um, Who is your biggest inspiration as a producer, like currently?
All right, so does it have to be one or can it be multiple?
You can give me multiple inspirations.
All
Yeah,
right, so so one of my all-time inspirations
yeah,
is probably this producer named Taney. He worked with a lot of artists like Bad Bunny and a lot of like a lot of producers in in that genre of music.
mm-hmm.
And then another inspiration is DJ Jimio.
Yeah,
He's this DJ out of the Baltics. He is really good at making beats because he knows a bunch of music theory. He adds a bunch of of like the Middle Eastern Baltic sounds. He adds like ancient Middle Eastern instruments into his beat, and it makes it sounds more uplifting and makes it sound more catchy. And that's
yeah,
one thing that I really enjoy about his work.
yeah, and
And
that's.
then
Oh, continue.
and then a hip hop artist that I a hip hop producer. Sorry, is probably I don't know. I really don't know because I don't listen to like a lot of hip hop, but like I do listen to hip hop, but like
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
the underground, you know. But Kanye West, I really like his work. He's like really creative. Um, he has a bunch of like versatility. He has a different bunch of ideas on like how to make something sound really good. I like his key changes, just all of that.
yeah. Kanye's great.
Yeah,
And I can definitely hear like the inspiration from a lot of these types of artists from what you've described in your music.
yeah.
And yeah, it's good to just get confirmation on who your biggest inspirations are. And yeah, what about like just with what you and Lil Switch are doing aesthetically, like the meme kind of aesthetic, who would you say your inspirations are in that, kind of field, if you can
All
name any?
right, all right. So, what the sole purpose of Lil Switch, how it all started
Yeah, yeah.
was was honestly I don't even remember that we've really gotten far into so much work that I forgot the origins
Oh
of Lil
wow,
Switch.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember the very first song I produced for him, and the first song he wrote is called "I." It's still on the channel. You guys can check it out.
Yes,
It's
definitely
basically
check that
just
out.
yeah, it's basically just like a Latin cumbia type beat.
Uh
But like the thing is, Lil Switch has his incredible vocals on it, and the whole thing he's saying is "I."
huh. I remember that. I remember that
Yeah,
song.
and
It's
then we tried to
crazy.
get creative. We added a bunch of different sounds, and the way he got the "I" was because one of the synths I included. I made the beat on GarageBand, and then one of the synths were called like talking bass or something like that. And
Uh
then it said "I," and then he just copied that.
Damn, that's crazy. That's a great story.
Yeah.
So,
Then why we started that was because he was like, "Oh yeah, I want to make a song." I was like, "I bet I know how to make music." And it was like, "I." He was like, "I bet," So we got in his shed, and we like worked on it.
yeah, that's great. Um,
Yeah,
just this it's just crazy how you know you guys have already put out so much music that it's hard to even remember the origins, and
yeah,
that really shows you guys have really been in the game for a while, right? You guys aren't playing around with this whole little switch thing. Like, people will probably see it and think it's a joke. This isn't a joke. This is, if this is a joke, it's pretty damn elaborate. It's been going on for a while. Like, definitely more than a year. You guys have
yeah,
been at it, and I'm just
yeah,
excited for what's next, what's to come.
yeah.
So, let's talk about Lil Switch's discography. Um, all singles. You said you're dropping a mixtape soon,
Yep.
which I'm excited for. So with that, I'm just gonna say, what the appeal is for Little Switch for different people. I'm gonna give my opinions and I'll ask
Okay.
yours. So for me, what
Okay.
I like most about hearing Little Switch, every sound is a mystery really with what you're gonna get. You don't know what the lyrics are gonna be, and sometimes I'm a bit scared. Not gonna lie, going into a Little Switch song, I'm a bit terrified for what he's gonna say, but
Yeah.
I've never really been well, I think I'm consistently let down, or I was when I first started listening to Little Switch because every song you sent me, I just had in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this is the one where he's gonna be serious. And he was never serious, right? So I think now I've got the kind of expectation that it's just for the memes and that's what I'm gonna get going into it. And honestly, it's made the listening experience a lot more enjoyable. Um,
Yeah.
but the most enjoyable part of listening to Lil Switch, in my opinion, is hearing the progression in your production from song to song. Like from the beginning of his discography to the end, you can like
Yeah.
hear a progression. The beats just getting better and better as they
Yeah.
go, and it's really great. It's just that just makes me like very excited for the future because you are not done, and this is only the start, right? So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. All right. So I really appreciate those words. Yeah. During the time I've been working with Lil Switch, I really have improved on my music producing skills. I've learned a lot more music theory. I learned a lot more about music in general. I learned what makes music and like how to replicate a bunch of different sounds. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, a lot of people talking about music theory and what you've learned and how you've progressed in your music uh, producing, journey. Um, let's just talk about what tools you use to produce and how that makes your beats even more impressive. You started off on GarageBand, and your beats were already pretty, like, considering they were made on GarageBand, they were pretty damn good. And people, might hop into a song and just be like, okay, it's a beat, right? But once they realize that it was made by like a high schooler on GarageBand, that really changes things. And
Yeah.
you've upgraded to FL Studio. I'm pretty sure you're
Yeah.
still on the mobile version, right?
Yeah.
That just
I
makes it even
I
more impressive.
Yeah, I'm actually upgrading. I'm getting FL Studio soon on my computer,
Oh, let's
and then
go.
I've recently bought some equipment to start my music to keep going on my music producing future. I recently in the mail today I just got my very first
Oh,
MIDI synth,
yeah.
and then I'm hoping to use that in the future. Right now it doesn't have any sounds with it, but I already have a really big file with a bunch of different sounds, with percussion, with everything I need.
Let's go. I'm that just makes me even more excited, honestly, for
Yeah.
what's to come and like what's next for Little Switch after you drop this mixtape. And do you feel comfortable maybe like if you have one, sharing the name of the mixtape, or do you not have one?
All right. Yes, I do.
Oh, all right. Let's hear it.
All right. So, what me and the Switch have, and what we've really developed over the years, we developed something called a uh, a shitpost song, pretty much.
Yes, yes,
All
definitely.
right. So pretty much when we do that is I make a beat like out of the blue, like in 5 seconds. I just choose a random music style, and then I just decide to make one,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just have him record from the microphone of my phone,
Yeah,
like the built-in microphone. And
truly
then he
iconic.
just yeah, and he just improvises on what to say. But one of the mixtapes you're gonna have on that album is gonna be a diss track,
Ooh, all right.
and then it's a shitpost diss track though. So it's in a style of cumbia, but like the thing is, it's a diss track against an up and coming artist called Jenny 69. I don't know if you heard of her, but she's this woman who came out of Riverside,
Yeah,
and I don't know if you've heard the song Soy La 69.
I have not.
it's a really popular song, but like it's just popular because it's really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just dissing her. You know, he's
Well,
coming up with a diss track.
that's great.
Yeah.
And speaking of diss tracks, that leads into our next question here. We're nearing the end of the interview, only a few questions left. Um,
Okay.
our next question, relating to diss tracks, was, uh, Beef and Lil Switch. As a hip hop artist, if you could even call him that, just listening to his music and hearing, you can definitely hear a big hip hop inspiration, right? So with that
Yeah.
comes beef, which is obviously a trademark of hip hop music, right? So
Yeah.
how does that relate to Lil Switch? Who is he beefing with currently?
So Will Switch, he does not have any beef. He's not really that big of an artist. But if he was out there, you know, if more people knew about him, I'm pretty sure he'd have a haters, and I'm pretty sure he'd hate them back.
Yes, knowing Lil Switch, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe not beef, but what about disses in his songs? He has definitely dissed people with his lyrics. So you want to talk about any of those?
All right. So hold up, I just gotta look through Lil Switch's songs real quick, cause I cannot remember all of his songs because there's so much of them.
Yeah.
I just need to look at all of them real quick, just to remember.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
Well, while we're waiting, we can talk about uh, what you were doing musically before Lil Switch, because you definitely were like, you know,
Oh, okay. All right. So before this all started, before I started getting into music producing,
hmm
I was listening. I was listening to Gotti by Pop Smoke and Travis Scott,
yeah,
and then so I was like, oh damn, this sounds really cool. I wonder if I can make something like this. So I remember I had this application on my phone called GarageBand, and I decided to replicate something like that. And then I remember my cousins being over, and they said, "Oh yeah, you guys want to record?" And I was like, "I." They were like, "I bet." I remember using my headset for my PlayStation,
hmm
and then that's what ended up becoming "Waves Like a Cop." That's one of the very first songs we dropped.
yeah,
Before that, you know, I by Lil Switch dropped. That was the very first track I've ever music produced on. Then
hmm
after that followed David Dobrik, then Waves Like a Cop, and then for at first at first we did at first it was I was in the Pog trio. I was just a group consisted of me, Lil Switch, and uh and his brother. You know.
yeah.
Then we're hoping to maybe bring back the Pog trio. You know.
No, that'd be great.
Yeah, we've released 4 songs
hmm
together, but then Lil Switch decided to do a solo career and decided to become his producer. So after that, Lil Switch doesn't really do diss tracks a lot. Most of the time, he
hmm
just like makes love songs. You know, like he tells stories.
Yes, of course.
So one of his most iconic and popular songs is called Travis Scott Chupa Mis Huevos. That translates to Travis Scott Suck My Dick.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and after that, he decided to go for Stormy. I don't think we should talk about that song,
Yeah, we don't need to.
but
We don't need to go into details.
yeah.
There.
And then
Uh,
following that, following that, we had another song called Caca Negra. We've been meaning to release that song forever. It took a year since we made it to release it because we had to like tweak it a little bit just to make it sound like good. Though it
yeah.
still sounds like shit, but like it's still one of his most popular songs.
Oh yeah,
Then
definitely.
after that came one of like the best like written like lyrically the best song lyrically but like musically too. Followed after Caca Negra was Coronavirus. I remember
I remember
sitting at
that
my
song.
house. Yeah, sitting at my house, at the dinner table, and we were like, "Damn, bro, coronavirus fucking sucks, bro. Coronavirus and op." So like, yeah, we started to make a diss against coronavirus, but it wasn't really a diss. So, and then we made up this character called Ms. Hodge, and then we decided to use that character as Ms. Hodge into a love story, right?
hmm
And then pretty much the story is about Lil Switch and Ms. Hodge. They're doing some little yeah. I guess you gotta listen to the song to know the story.
All right.
And then yeah, and the joke, the punchline was that she had coronavirus.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's great to hear, an in-depth kind of explanation of some of Lil Switch's music. Um, I have one last question for you here. Um,
Okay.
just to, kind of top off this interview and finish things. Uh, do you? This is going to be kind of a broad question. All right.
Okay.
So with Lil Switch, firstly, do you ever see him, kind of expanding in his music and branching out and, you know, being more serious with his lyrics and writing songs about real experiences, uh, with
Um.
less vulgar lyrics, and also just in general, what's next, for Lil Switch in the future, in the big grand scheme of things? Where do you see this going?
All right. So as in the future right now, he has of course, his album coming out.
Of
Whole lot
course.
of caca, which
Oh,
means whole lot of
what
poop.
a great name. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the future in Lil Switch, if he decides to make a serious song, then that'll really transform his music game a lot. But if he continues doing this, he'll still be the old same Lil Switch, which Lil Switch is a dope artist. You guys should listen to him.
Yes, definitely, go into his music with an open mind. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, just expect to
Be disappointed.
to just yeah, just expect to be disappointed.
But, there
Yeah,
are some, good things in his music, like especially the production, probably the highlight. Um,
yeah,
all right, well, uh, thanks for coming on here, man. We really
yeah,
enjoyed getting this insight from you. Uh, I know the fans are all, anxious and, uh, ready for this album to drop. We're
yeah,
ready for the diss. We're ready for everything that's to come. Um, I am most excited for to hear the production on this album, and yeah, I'm excited for the future of Jhead, excited for the future of Lil Switch, and yeah. Any final thoughts before we end this thing?
You guys should go to McCock or McDonald's. You got the Little Switch meal is now open. It's
The
now
Lil
available.
Switch meal.
Yeah.
That's the next big step for Little Switch right there. The Little Switch meal. Definitely
Yep.
go, buy the Little Switch meal if you want to support a homie.
Yep.
Uh, all right. Thanks for talking,
Yep. Thank
and
you for having me here.
yeah,
Really enjoyed this interview.
no problem, dude. All right. See you guys.